What's up, guys? Larry Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. I got my buddy Jun, Imai, Kaido house, all the cool things here with his really awesome 260z, right?
Yeah.
So I've known Jun for many years now, and I actually met him when he was working at Mattel in the Hot Wheels division. He didn't deal with the Barbies as much as he would have liked to, right?
Right.
So
They kept the trouble away really well over there.
So Jun, he's actually one of the biggest reasons why, if you guys have wondered why there's so many awesome JDM cars now in the Hot Wheels lineup, it's all because of Jun. And you'll see a lot of his Kaido House logos on the cars, as well a lot of his designs. And of course this car too, right?
Yeah.
This car actually became a Hot Wheels car, as well as your 510 wagon.
Right.
Right. It's part of it is that I guess up until that point there wasn't really that many JDM enthusiasts in the company at Mattel, and you kind of brought that style, right?
Yeah, I mean, I won't take all the credit for it. I think a lot of that was kind of brewing even before I got there. But I mean, I think a lot of things about being a designer over there is you're able to open up and just kind of infuse your own styles and passions into the product line, and that's what I did.
I'm so lucky to know this guy because my Hot Wheels collection it's not that big, but there's some grade A stuff in there, including some very rare 3D printed pieces and little trinkets here and there that I've had a chance to kind of get my hands on because of knowing you. But also on top of that, it's kind of given me so much more of an appreciation of what Hot Wheels and diecast cars are in general. I always say, look, a lot of people ask me what kind of things that I get from my travels, like when I go over to whatever, Tokyo Auto Salon, or if I go over to any show or any car related thing, like what kind of trinkets or what kind of things did I bring back? I say, like, look, I brought back thousands of things, and each one of them is a picture. I brought back thousands of pictures of these things that I went there to actually photograph. Hot Wheels is interesting in that it's kind of gives me that same feeling. It's like, you potentially will never be able to own a 260Z like this, that's this modified. But the fact that somebody can go out for $1 and essentially buy this car from any store, from Walmart, from Toy Store, from airport, whatever, that just kind of blows my mind. And it's such a good thing that car enthusiasts really needed.
Yeah, I think it's a really easy and approachable and scalable way to build your dream garage, right? And like even for some people who they might be in a situation or live in an area where you can't even own a car. Like if you live in the middle of Manhattan or something, it's like you don't really own a car, right? Yeah, you might be a fan, and it's a nice way to just have all your dream cars lined up and share them with your friends and your kids and your family, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's kind of, a lot of people get to enjoy Hot Wheels in a different way. So, of course, the kids and the younger fans, they enjoy them because they're actually really cool and fun to play with. They go really fast, and you can get a Hot Wheels track and you can shoot them and jump them and crash them and all that. For me, it's so much about the essence of what the car is, the fact that I could have a scale model of something like this, or I love cars so much. I have no preference in terms of like what cars that I fall in love with, but to be able to own NSXs, GTRs, RX-7s, this, that, and the other, but the scale version, it essentially gives me that same feeling. But also I love the whole packaging. I love the artwork. I love everything that comes with it. And also the fact that you guys back then went head over heels, did whatever you could to get the licensing, even for like the tiniest little logos. You know, so, and that's what really makes it, instead of having fake brands, you actually got the real things. And also another thing is, yeah, there's still those dinosaur race cars, toilet race cars, hot dog race cars, all the other crazy things. But then you had real cars. I think that's kind of like, now at least, the big, not move, but it's like a rite of passage to have your car. If you build something so cool, Hot Wheels actually made it into a Hot Wheels car. That's like the car guy rite of passage now.
Yeah, it's like a form of validation, isn't it? It's like when you think about like kind of all the check marks, like getting your car project in SEMA, or just like even just driving it out of your garage for the first time after you've built a motor or something. Like there's a lot of these steps and kind of a lot of these like boxes you want to check off. But I think getting your car done as a die-cast car, and I would say specifically as a Hot Wheels car, just because it is a very aspirational brand in that sense. There's really not a lot of other things that are higher than that, right? It's like that is one of the ultimate goals. And I can say when I was in the company, when I was leading the team, it's like I can tell you how many requests I got from near and far, and from your average Joe, even down to like celebrities who wanted to get their car done as a Hot Wheels car. It really is. And for me, and for a lot of people that I know who've been fortunate to have their cars done as a Hot Wheels, like super cool. Very, very grateful for that opportunity.
Well, we're not actually here to talk about Hot Wheels, even though I'm a big Hot Wheels fan. We're actually here to talk about your 260Z. Tell us a little bit about this car. Where did it start life as?
So this car actually belonged to my friend Vaughn, really good friend of mine who works in the entertainment industry. And it's interesting because this is like the third time you've actually featured this car, and every time you've seen it, it's been different. But he had this car. I actually didn't plan on getting a Z. So back then I had my 510 wagon. I think I had my 620 project, and I was like, I didn't really need a third Datsun. But this one just kind of fell on my lap, and he was in a situation where it's like, hey, like I need to get rid of this car. Are you interested in it? So I said, a Z? Yeah, like I'm down with a Z. Like I love Zs. Wasn't really looking for one, but again, it just kind of came my way. I drove over to his house to check it out. Like it was pretty beat. Like the front end was smashed in, had a cracked head. It was running on 5 cylinders. It was pretty rough, but it had good bones, right? It had this blue paint job, and I was like, I think I could work with it. Gave me a really good deal on it, and there it was. I owned the Z, and it was pretty stock. It had like slot mags, all the body panels were there. Interior was missing a couple pieces, but it ran, mostly worked. I was able to drive it back to my house, and as soon as I rolled up into the driveway, I started taking it apart. As we all do, right? That's what we do when we get a project car. We gotta start taking it apart.
The thing is, looking at it from the outside, yeah, it's changed quite a bit actually since I last saw it, because it didn't even have a G-nose on it last time. My shoot with it, I guess it was more of an afterthought, but we actually shot this from a helicopter. We shot it down in San Diego, and it's one of those things where it driving on the empty highways and also the bridges around that area, around Coronado, it's like it reminded me of the real life car on a Hot Wheels track, because the actual die-cast 1/64 scale version of it, I'm sure it's all around the world, running on Hot Wheels tracks. So it was kind of just like a cool visual thing for me, and I really, really enjoyed shooting it. That's part of it, is that it's not the fastest car. It's in fact, it's more of a cruiser, right? That's what you've built it for. Yeah. But there's so much culture in it, and there's just so many little things that you've done to it to make it your own, to make it look the way it looks. There's just no other Z in the world like it.
Yeah, this is probably I don't know, 4th or 5th iteration, and to your point, Larry, every time you've seen it, it's changed. From the very first time you featured it up until the last time for 2017 SEMA. It's changed again. And this time around, I really just wanted to get back to like, I wanted to build like that Z in Japan, you know, it was just like the Genos and kind of that like Fuji Raceway look going on. But what this car represents for me is just kind of like the spirit, the DIY spirit. This car has always been low budget. It's always been about, you know, no budget, low budget, like how can I do this without spending a ton of money on it? And with the exception of what I would say very nice parts, you know, that I've been fortunate to get some help with from various friends and companies who helped me on the build. Everything else is like super low budget. It's like, you know, my $10 Nardi that I got in a swap meet in Japan. Like this was $10. This was like you know, 1,000 yen in Japan, which is about $10. I found that in a swap meet in Tokyo. You know, the seats, I think this seat was like $30 at another swap meet in Japan. You know, there are a lot of little things here and there. And like, I just didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. You know, the Genos was like, I think this was like a Craigslist find. It was like $100 just for like the upper piece.
Wait. What kind of Craigslist are you looking at? Because
this was
no time ever have I seen anything like this on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Like,
so it was actually
240ZG nose.
Yeah, and I mean, it's, you know, it's, you can see it's a little wobbly and it's gotten beat up over the years, but I got that Genos probably like a couple months after I got the car, and I think it came from Vegas, so like I have to get it freighted over from Vegas. The three-piece wing, the spoiler, this is a lot of fun for me too. Like I like all the little stories that come with the car. This was actually on a Z that was for sale on Craigslist. And I called the guy and I was like, hey, I just want that three-piece spoiler. If I come by, can I just take it off? Will you sell it? He goes, yeah, I'll sell it to you. Like, how much do you want it for? And he said $20. I said, I'll come there right now. And I just went over there.
$20?
$20 for this. And this was like 10 years ago, you know? It was a while ago before like a lot of this stuff just super skyrocketed. But
I don't think anything on my cars are $20. Like, $20.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, as I said, like everything on this car, it's like, it's DIY. You know, make the most of what you have, and if you really have to get it, then like, you know, Craigslist or kind of a.
All right, so let's check out okay, so the outside, what kit is this?
So this is a combination Pandem and I guess a Craigslist kit.
The Pandem Craigslist kit, ladies and gentlemen.
So, I was very fortunate. A big thanks to Miura-san, obviously from TRA Kyoto, also Greddy, Kenji over at Greddy. So they helped me out with the full Pandem kit, which I put on the car for 2017. It went to the SEMA show for KW. But after that, I wanted to change a couple things. Mainly, I had the Genos. I wanted to put those two together. And you know, at the time, Miura-san, he didn't have a solution for that. So I just came up with my own. So I put the Genos back on. This lower piece I actually made myself to connect his flare to the Genos. Okay. And like, it's not great, but again, DIY low budget, I made it work. And it was actually really cool. Miura-san came to my house last November before he went to SEMA, and he saw that and he was like, oh, good. So I was like, oh, you know, I got the...
I like that though. Like, yeah. Okay, looking at it from the outside, this potentially I could see parked in the parking lot at the Nismo Festival at Fuji Speedway.
Yeah.
You know, somebody wanted to make like a race car inspired look for their Z and likes to show it off. And yeah, like you said, you have the nice parts, including the nice Workmeisters here, which really scream like that Nismo race car, you know? I think that's so cool. But then you still have these hand-formed pieces that you did yourself, which, by the way, this thing rides so low. I can't believe how low this thing is.
I actually lifted it up a little bit to drive it over here, but it's usually sits about an inch lower, but it gets to a point where like, if I don't know exactly where I'm going, I can't drive it. So this is actually a pretty reasonable height. I could generally drive everywhere. And it's got the HLS up front from KW, so it lifts up the front an inch or so when I really need it.
Yeah. Well, we'll look into that when we go inside. But so going around to the back,
So
this is all Mirasan's handiwork.
yeah.
All
So
of that.
the flares, the door piece is all Mirasan. I had the hatch spoiler and also the front bumper set. That's actually all going on another Z that I'm building with a friend of mine. And we're just waiting for the flare. So all that stuff is actually going on another Z, another Kaido House Z that we're building.
Ooh, and it's interesting that it matches with the spoiler too.
I think it flows really cool. Like especially like you got the that kind of the character line on the flare, and it goes along with the angle of the spoiler.
What are the chances of that? And you got a Barla exhaust on it?
Yeah, so the Borla team, they're really cool. They went through a couple different iterations of the exhaust on this one, and we finally landed at a really a happy place for me. I'm really picky about exhaust, and they were very, very responsive to what I was looking for. So,
well, let's check out the engine bay.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I love the fact that this is like a big scale Tamiya car.
Yeah, you see Tamiya everywhere, and it's like, for me, that just comes out of my personal passion. I've been a Tamiya fan since forever, and I recently had the opportunity to do a project with them, actually for Robo Race. We did a collaborative project, and I spent a lot of time with Tamiya in Japan and also their team here. And for me, you know, a dream come true, right? To collaborate with them. Been a fan of their products my whole life, and also even a chance to meet Mr. Tamiya as well, and get to know him. So it's been super cool.
Okay, so I've been to your garage, right? And the rarest kits, unbuilt, by the way.
Yeah.
So cool, so cool. Blew my mind. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm a big closet RC fan. And I grew up on playing with Tamiyas, and the point is, they're not the fastest by far. They're actually probably the slowest, right? But in terms of the culture aspect of it, it's the most true to scale and the most fun to build, and it just kind of gives you that. It's really the process that they capitalize on, right? It's the process from you have the kit and it's all in pieces, from that, for you to work on it, spend time on it, and mold it to your own, to a working, actual, beautiful replica scale car. That's the essence that is missing now in RC, and I love that about Tamiya.
Yeah, and I think with them, like, they embrace each step of the way, from when you actually get the kit, you're looking at it, you build it, and then there's like the whole like after experience as well, right? As being an owner of a Tamiya project now, and being able to run it and personalize it, get parts and stuff. So it's like, yeah, in a sense, yeah, this is like a big Tamiya RC
Well, because
car.
because everything from the artwork, right, the instructions, which are by far so amazing, the best, the quality of the parts, and the coolest thing is they call modifications or upgrades, they call them hop-up parts. Right, so
hop-up options.
Hop-up options. That's so Japanese.
Right.
And you're Japanese.
Yeah.
And essentially, all of the things that you added onto this car are hop-up options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's check out this. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked.
No,
because I'm so
that's
excited
what
today.
happens. We start talking about toys.
Yeah. Oh, look at this guy.
Yeah, there's not a lot of changes. Actually, no changes since you saw it last. Again, this is like all about the spirit of low cost, and you know, just enjoying what's there.
Look at that, our buddy Magnus Walker, pedal to the metal.
There's actually some
John Martin too.
There's added horsepower in signatures and stickers in here, so I think we could go through some of that.
You're like me. We're obsessed with stickers and decals, and we spend so much time on figuring out where to put them and, you know, what they mean and all of that. So I think I have a pretty good sticker collection, just from over 15 years or so being in the industry. But you know, I recognize some of these actually. Yeah. Like that one.
Yeah, some of those might ring a bell. But yeah, for me, like, you know, I've been a skater all my life too, so I think a lot of the kind of the sticker bombing comes from the skate culture, and just something that I really like. And it's like, you know, when I was growing up, I always had the skateboard just in the bottom of a board, just covered with skate stickers. And this is kind of like, you know, I saw like a blank canvas for that. So, yeah.
So it's still 2.6 liter.
Yeah, it's actually 2.8 liters. One of the previous 10 owners swapped in the L28, but still running on, round top SUs. I got these recently, so a friend in Portland actually gifted those to me because he just went to triples and he sent them over. I just put those on. Coil radiator, and eventually, I like to put some triples in here and just make it like the machine that it wants to be. But for right now, for its intents and purposes, it runs great and it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a cruiser.
Yeah, it's a cruiser. These things don't give me a lot of grief. They start up usually most of the time. So most of the time.
You have to talk to it in a certain way.
You gotta like pet it, talk, and come on, it's been a while. I know.
Let's check out the interior. Okay, so this is the part that really screams like that Japanese Wangan Midnight. That seat is the thing.
Yeah,
that's the jam.
These seats are I really like the parts on this car just because to me they all tell a story. And both of these seats I found at Odaiba swap meet in Japan. And I think they were this one's probably $30 and that was probably about $20 back then. I recently went through this whole car just because I haven't driven it in years. And so I went through all electrical, nothing was really working. So, connections are corroded, things like that. I got the radio working the other day and I ejected that CD and it's been stuck in there for who knows how long.
I'd say since the 90s.
Probably. It's been there for a while. But it still hits hard, so I still listen to it.
I love the exposed Pioneers figures too.
Yeah, that's like an homage to kind of the old school look. But those are kind of new. They're probably about 5 years old. But yeah, I like the style.
That's kind of the thing with the 240Z, 260Z, and just S30s in general. I've had a chance to feature so many of them. Obviously, everyone loves to make fun of me about mentioning my 240Z and loving the platform. But, back when I purchased mine, it wasn't anything special. I bought mine legitimately for $3,000 on my 21st birthday. Good luck finding a 1970 for that much money, even in the condition that I had mine in, which finally I've kind of done it justice and now it's almost like a brand new car. But the point is that back then they were worthless. And now I can't believe how much they're going for. Like on Bring a Trailer, didn't one just sell for $300,000, like a US version?
That I didn't see, but that's something else. $300,000.
Yeah.
For a US Model Z.
Well, I mean, and then of course the most desirable one, the 432R, I think sold for almost $1 million before the shutdown, all of that happened. So tell us about the wheels.
So the wheels are probably the second or third thing I bought after I got the car, and these are the Workmeister CR01s, and these have been on here since 2013 or so, and I still love these wheels. I look at them and the silver centers, the gloss black barrels, that combination. They're 15s, and I like small wheels on old cars. And even for me, if I could, I'd run 14s on this car, but it can be really hard to find aggressive rubber for 14s. So the black barrel kind of visually shrinks the wheel a little bit. So I like that it has a small center.
It's too bad Yokohama discontinued the AO48s.
The AO48s are my favorite tire. And I was telling Lewis earlier, I actually have a brand new set of them that I'm just not gonna run, but I just look
You're
at.
Just gonna keep them.
I just hug them because they're such a beautiful tire.
Yeah, I actually still have a brand new set too. I'm waiting for the right time to mount them on a certain car. Who knows? And maybe I'll never get that car. But they're really special. The tread pattern is very JDM, and it's just. I think honestly, it's kind of like the last JDM tire.
Yeah. It just has that, it just looks like a race tire, right? The smooth sidewalls and the directional tread, it just has that right look.
Mm-hmm. So what's the actual specs of these? Do you remember?
The fronts are 15 by 9, the rears are 15 by 10s, and I think it's like a negative 53, somewhere around there, offset. A lot of that is built into the face as well to clear big breaks that I don't have yet, but one day.
All right. Well, let's take it for a rip. All right, so this is legitimately a $10 steering wheel.
It's a $10 steering wheel from that same swap meet in Odaiba. So every time I go to Tokyo, this was like, years ago, because I go to Japan a lot in the wintertime to visit my wife's family. So we spend time in Tokyo. I would always make sure, not to miss any car events that are happening. And for many years, I've been fortunate to be there at this time when car shows and swap meets were going on. And
I like this custom horn button that you
yeah. So I have a buddy, Adam, goes by Rev Limiter, who made me a bunch of those. And
wow.
I'll have to give you one, Larry.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, all right, so this is cool. I actually have the same system on my Porsche. This raises and lowers the front. Or is this all four?
No, it's just the front only.
Okay, so this is the front, and that way you can actually get in and out of driveways without having to scrape this thing.
Yeah, and you only have to use it when you get out of here.
Yeah.
So.
Is 4-speed?
That's 5.
Oh, 5-speed. Do you actually still have to use a choke?
Yeah, I
and stuff?
do to start it, but it's warmed up already, so you're good to go.
Okay. And then hit the button?
Yeah, you might as well lift it up now.
Oh, wow. That's right in here.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have that on your Z?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I have it on my 911. It's in the front.
Your Z probably doesn't need it because you're riding on a little bit bigger wheels, right?
Yeah, yeah. Plus, it's not as low as this. This is like the low life. This is the most angle I can go. All the angle. Uh-oh. Are we stuck?
I think we're stuck. All right. Let me get out.
Uh-oh. Fail already.
Okay, try going. There you go.
Wow. You want to talk about low, man.
That was all my muscle just, weighing the car down.
Oh, yeah.
Are you already scraping?
No. I feel everything's coming back to me.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
This is like, yeah, before you've finished your car, it's like, this is what it felt like, right?
This runs nice though.
It runs good. It's, it's really raw. It's really unrestored, unrefined.
You must get so many looks and thumbs up and stuff when you drive this thing.
It's like looks of like, that's freaking awesome, and looks like, what is that?
Disgusting.
It's crazy. And it smells terrible, but it's, it's pretty rad.
Cool. I'm surprised this seat, actually, you sit up pretty straight up.
Yeah. I actually have that seat lifted up a little bit, but in the seating setting I had before, like, Z, the hoods are really long, so it's really hard to see where the front of the car is, but before it was like I had no idea where anything was, so I lifted up the seat a little bit. Makes it a little easier to drive.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the hardest parts about driving a Z in time attack or in autocross. You can't actually see where the edge of the course is.
Yeah, and it's compounded by the Genos, because it's like, now you added like another foot, you really don't know where it is. So
this motor is pretty healthy, actually.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, which is why it's like I had the twin SUs. Yeah, they don't look as cool as the triples, but it's like it's a pretty drivable motor.
Right.
And I don't mind it, and it starts up fairly easily.
This is crazy. It's like I'm on the edge of my seat just trying to drive it normal.
Right? It can be a handful in certain situations, but if it's like open road, early in the morning, you know where you're going, it's a fun car. There's been a lot of people who've driven it. Have Magnus rip this thing through downtown LA. That was a lot of fun.
I bet.
He really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sung drove it as well. And
That's kind of the thing is it is kind of like gives you that old 911 feeling, right?
Yeah. I think the building is right there straight if you want to go that way or.
Yeah, like old 911s is basically this.
Yeah.
This actually has more power, I think, too.
Yeah, it's healthy. Like it pulls really hard. It's got a lightened flywheel in there too, so it just revs really fast. It's good. Nice tour of the neighborhood. I actually haven't driven the car like this through it, so makes you slow down. You know, smell the flowers.
Yeah. The neighbors are like, I hate you so much.
Gosh, what are you doing to my Saturday afternoon right now?
Why do you not have a Tesla Model S?
Exactly.
What is wrong with you?